guys, my name is Tessa and I'm going to be working on the lovely Lauren today. We're going to be doing a relaxing scalp and face massage with a little bit of neck. So I'm going to go ahead and dive right in. And I did make sure that my hands are nice and clean, especially when I'm doing any face. It's just really important. And if the head's crooked, I usually just like to straighten everything out. I might push these shoulders down a little bit. And nothing fancy here, just doing something that can help my client ground and relax. Just doing little circles. It's really important that you're not pulling the hair, so just make sure that there's plenty of room to work without pulling any hair. Before I started the massage, I just made sure that my arms can rest on the table, because this is like 100 times easier than if my arms were elevated. Your clients can definitely feel if you aren't present. So even when I'm doing something really simple and just staying connected to my own breath and really giving my client my full attention. But that doesn't mean that you need to work harder than is necessary. And really, anything you do on the scalp is going to feel pretty good. If you're someone that hasn't really given a lot of massages, it can be a little intimidating, but scalp is just a great place to start if you feel kind of scared of offering massage to people. It's hard to go wrong. Really taking my time here. I'm in no hurry. And I really, I pay attention to the unique temperament of each of my clients. Like some of my clients are very active, very fast-moving people. And if I were to spend, too long on the scalp, they would get really restless. So kind of try to gauge, each client. I once had a client who he requested like a full 60 minutes with just scalp. So everybody's different. I'm going to start working my way onto the face, onto the forehead. You can store a lot of tension in the forehead without realizing it. And I spend a lot of time on these temples. I think that it's just really important to work organically when you're doing massage and not get too mechanical about it. Not to treat everybody the same. Doing little micro circles on these temples. I'll start to work my way around the eyebrows. You might notice a difference from right to left. One side might feel more tense. I'm really taking my time today, working nice and slow. These temples are kind of my main reference point when I'm doing scalp and even face. I'm just kind of always working my way back to the temples. And this is a really nice pressure point if you're working on someone that has sinus issues, but you don't want to press too hard. And going a little bit lighter, work my way under the eyebrows, back into the temples. And I might hold a little bit longer this time, press slightly harder. I'm really encouraging my client to relax their jaw and feel that space in their mouth, so letting the tongue rest in the lower part of the mouth kind of relaxes the whole face. And especially as I work my way into the jaw area, work my way into this masseter, I just want to make sure there's not a whole lot of tension, unnecessary tension, before I go in there. Lauren doesn't have any serious issues in the face, so I'm not really doing anything too detailed here. I'm not using a whole lot of pressure. For people that have chronic jaw issues, you can actually do massage from inside of the mouth, which can be really uncomfortable but really helpful too. Depending on how dry your client's skin is, you might need a little bit of oil, but I don't usually use any oil when I'm doing facial massage. Really nice to get underneath the jaw a little bit. And working my way back into the masseter. Sometimes people that have clenched jaw, this area can get really tight. Really good to help clear out these sinuses a little bit, but you need to be really careful of pressing too hard. And use a nice moderate pressure. Again, I'm just kind of circling back towards the temples. My earpiece is falling off. Okay. And just working my way back towards the temples. It's kind of cool to help your clients learn how connected everything is. So as I work my way back into this temple area, the jaw's gonna feel just a lot more relaxed, hopefully. And I kind of like to complete the circle and finish how I started a lot of times. And always with massage, I am trying to kind of find new creative ways to tie different techniques together so that the massage doesn't feel choppy. So I'm going to start working my way into the neck eventually, into along the occipital ridge. And a great way to kind of work towards that is to kind of feel your way around the mastoid process. So right behind the ear. Not gonna spend a whole lot of time on that mastoid process. I'm gonna work my way right into these occipital muscles. And again, this would be really hard if my arms weren't resting on the table. So there's like seemingly small things you can do to make massage a lot easier on yourself. And any time that I'm doing more detailed work, I try to sit whenever I can, just because it does take a good bit of concentration to do more detailed work. And Lauren doesn't really prefer super deep tissue, so I'm going on the lighter side today. Doing little circles. It's a lot easier when I angle myself so I'm not working directly overhead. You can also use knuckles here if you want. It's definitely easier, but I don't really feel like it's as effective. I like to use the pads of my fingers. I'm going to work my way into the mastoid process a little bit more. And if this area is feeling, if some of these attachments are feeling really tight, I might do a little bit more scalp on this interior scalp. Kind of help release some of that tension. And this whole time I'm making sure that Lauren's head is supported by my left hand so that she feels nice and secure as I work. If if you're working on someone that has like severe whiplash or something like that in the SEM, it's a good starting place to just work along this mastoid process and even around the scalp. If your client can't tolerate like being touched on that actual muscle. And I might start going like slightly deeper, but I'm really not gonna go too deep today along this occipital ridge. If you find a spot that feels extra tense, holding for a good 10 seconds can provide a lot of relief. Just kind of depends on my client. Sometimes I'll do shorter holds, more frequent. And I'm gonna go ahead and finish on this right side and move on to the left. And always in these transitions, I'm just careful not to move too fast. And this side actually feels significantly tighter. There's a little bit of swelling, which is pretty normal, but it's a contraindication to doing massage sometimes if it's really, really swollen or inflamed. But this is about the normal amount for an area that's just kind of tight. And again, I'm just making sure that my chair is angled at the side of the table so that I have a better angle to work from. And same thing, just kind of working my way into this anterior scalp a little bit more, and encouraging the SEM attachment in the mastoid process to just soften up a bit. Like I was talking about on the other side, if I am working on someone that was just in a car accident or something, I probably wouldn't work directly on the SEM. Kind of start with this work in the first session. And I might start doing some longer holds here, but being really careful about the pressure because of the inflammation on this left side. Someone that like grinds their teeth or clenches their jaw, this area can become really tight and inflamed. So that's a good thing to kind of address with your client. Ask them about if you feel tightness here. And I'm going to go ahead and wrap up this occipital work on this left side. And I think a nice neck stretch is in order. I'm just gonna grab hold and just make sure if there's any resistance with your client, it can be kind of surprising to make sure you're not forcing anything. And I'm finally ready to go in with some oil. I'm going to finish with some work along that SEM, and it should be a lot easier to work on after doing some work along the attachment and that mastoid process. I just really like to encourage these shoulders to relax away from the ears. It's always nice if you can avoid getting oil in the hair. Not always possible, but I really like to include the upper trap in doing this kind of neck work. And I'm someone that naturally kind of tends to work really deep, so I always have to remind myself to gauge the amount of pressure I'm using on someone that prefers lighter pressure. I'm keeping it really simple today. Working along this SEM. Making sure that I'm at the side of the table just to get a nice angle. This SEM muscle can be extremely uncomfortable to have worked on, especially for someone that doesn't like deep tissue. So I'm just really gauging my pressure as I work. My favorite technique to use when I'm working on someone that prefers lighter pressure is a soft fist. And it's also really good if you don't have a lot of time. This is also a really healthy position for all your joints when you're working. You can also get into that upper trap a little bit, that levator. And we're ready for the opposite side. And this whole time, just making sure that Lauren's head is supported with my hand. If you want to keep it super simple, you can just use the pads of your fingers. And this is a really good technique for someone that's new to massage, just because you have so much sensitivity in your fingertips. You get a really good sense of what's going on. You do need to be a little bit careful here that you don't pull any hair. That never feels good. If you're trying to use the soft fist to get into that upper trap a little bit, it's a lot easier to do so when you're on the upward stroke. I'm just trying to avoid like abrupt transitions or endings when I'm working. And I like to finish with both sides. So these shoulders can be pretty stubborn, so just leaving my client with a nice spacious feeling in their neck, nice relaxed shoulders. Maybe one more little stretch. And that's it for today, guys. Thank you for joining us today, guys. I hope that you enjoyed today's video. I wanted to mention our Patreon site. If you haven't gotten a chance, you should definitely check us out there. And other than that, I look forward to seeing you next time.
Welcome to Yoga Plus. Courses available from pupil to yogi. Sort by yoga, fitness, and instructors. Create your own routines. Access the Pose Library. Yoga Plus by Psyche Truth, available on Google Play and the App Store.
Join us for 14 and 30-day programs, hour-long classes, and much more on our yoga app, Yoga Plus by Psyche Truth. It's free to download and features a variety of wellness content, including yoga, fitness, Pilates, guided meditations, and interviews with dozens of wellness experts.